Ha! You didn't think I was going to do it, did you? Okay, it's a little late. I'll give you that. But this video will be released on Wednesday, January 21st, as I promised. Now, I'm not sure there are many people waiting with bated breath for this video, and that's okay. It's the fact that I'm getting it done. If you read my post yesterday and listened to the basically reiteration in my audio recording, I was basically saying, okay, we need a game plan. Well, we don't. I do. I need a game plan here for how I'm going to go forward. Here's the bottom line. I am maybe like you on a deeply spiritual path. We all are, whether we realize it or not. But some of us know it. And even more, even fewer get a little zealous about it. I'm on a spiritual path. If you know me or if you read my stuff or listen to my videos, you know this. This isn't a secret. I'm on a spiritual path. I hope I hope to find other people who are on spiritual paths, their own, in their own way, shape, form. Uh, I respond to a call. And I'm assuming anybody who's on a spiritual path to the degree that I am, they're responding to a call. I'm responding to a call. There are many jokes I could tell about that. There are many jokes lying in wait there. I'm not going to tell them. You know how it is to respond to the call. I hear it loud and clear. This is not my first rodeo. I've been preparing for this lifetime for many lifetimes, and you probably have too. I hope that I'm not speaking to uh, to deaf ears. I don't know why anyone would listen to me if they don't resonate with being on a deeply spiritual path. I suppose I'm entertaining in some bizarre way to people who don't believe they're on a spiritual path. But for those of you who are, um, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I was talking about yesterday when I said I need a game plan here because my guides, my higher self, and from time to time, the Sophia Code mentors, these ascended ones, they are continually reiterating to me to get speaking. They're not telling me what to do. Don't make that mistake. They're not telling me what to do. I am not a blind actor, puppet for the divine. That's really funny because if you know me, some would question whether or not I'm working with the divine and not completely delusional. I guess the line gets blurry the farther down this path you get. As you move into authenticity, your character, your true divine nature begins to show. And believe me, it's not the fluffy bullshit that some would have you believe divinity is. I guess if there's one thing I'm doing, it's proving that that's bullshit. Okay. That said, uh, I have to figure out how I'm going to do this. And there are a whole lot of things I have to juggle and organize and manage with myself to sit down and make a video like this. Uh, one of the reasons is I am highly aligned with the feminine, which means my feet are not on the ground often. It's gotten really bad in the last few years. Really bad. I've been like this all my life. One foot in the ethers, one foot sort of on earth. Sort of. It was easier when I was younger, right? We've moved into a period of time now where the energy's flooding in. For some of us, it makes it really hard to keep your feet on the ground because we can extend, we can reach into these greater dimensions that are now accessible. And why wouldn't you? Life is much better there. So I spend a lot of time in the ethers. I Everybody knows the joke. I don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to take out the trash. Half the time I don't want to be bothered by taking a shower. So it one of the big problems that I face is when you are out in the ethers and floating around in your ethereal experience, your spiritual experience constantly, it's hard to, well, you have to ground it. Let's just be clear. You have to ground it. That's what your human life is about. It has to be ground. And I don't do that. I don't do it very often. I just don't. I don't want to rant about it, but it's really hard. It's hard to ground it for me because there's so much expansiveness in the feminine, unbelievable potential, infinite potential. I love to just sit out there with the potential. It gets me into trouble. There are people who get mad at me because I'm looking at potential while they're pointing straight at reality or seeming reality, I should say. It's not real to me. All is real, not just the thing you're pointing at. Sometimes people don't like that. Okay, so the problem is I can't keep my experience organized. One day I'm having this kind of experience, the next day it's this experience, and they are related. I know how they're related. I know the giant picture. Everything that I experience on a day-to-day basis, it's all fitting into this ginormous picture. How do I how do I even begin to explain this to people? Now, here's why I think it's important to communicate about this is because I'm not the only one going through this. I am not the only one having this experience. There are many, many of us. Um, and let's be clear, for the record, I don't consider myself a just a spiritual person, just someone who's interested in the spiritual aspect of life. No, it goes a little farther than that. I do believe that I am one of these folks who has a greater understanding of this big picture of what happened on the planet and why some of us are sort of propelled ahead of the crowd here in terms of understanding what's unfolding. Because someone's got to explain it to everyone else. And there aren't going to be angels descending from the sky to do this. No, it's going to be other humans who go through the process ahead of the masses, who put it together, who literally have the same experience that everyone else is going to have. There's nothing special going on in my life. I got to do this all with no handbook. And believe me, I know people who have gone through this 10 years before I am, who really didn't have a handbook. Half of what I know is from some of these people who've gone through it already. And they didn't have all the answers when they were going through it. So this is what it's like to be a human returning, returning to divine roots. This is what's happening on this planet for everyone. Now, this is sort of backdrop to why this story has to be told. I know part of it. I know a lot of it. I'm probably understating what I know. But the problem is it's very ethereal for me. It's this big undulating, is that the word? That's a big English word if this is being translated into other languages. Undulating, it's moving. There's this pure potential is always moving. It doesn't sit there. Form sits there. But pure potential is always moving. uh, the story always has different words depending on the person who tells it, what day it's told. Is there a conjunction between the sun and the moon on that day? Well, the story is going to be different. The story, though, has to be told. And you can find sources all over the internet that are telling this story now. Part of my understanding, part of the words that I choose to use come from other people and their experience of it when they describe their experience of it. Because I sit there and go, you're telling it in a different way, but it's the same thing I'm experiencing. Okay, I'm just going to do the same thing. We all have to do this because our language is not one size fits all. We are not one size fits all type of people. Some are going to resonate with me and some aren't. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not here to resonate. I don't need to resonate with anyone. I resonate with my guides, my higher self, and my mentors. But along the way, there have been many people who have spoken words about experience that allowed me to see that I am going through the same process. And so I need to turn around and do the same thing. That's what I'm going to do. This is not going to be perfect or pretty. I don't know, it's a year later. I still haven't cleaned up the mess on my table. That's like washing dishes. I don't have time for that. I'm having these etheric experiences. Okay, so what am I doing here? What's the game plan? Well, here's your video for today. This is how it's going down. I'm going to try to do at least one video like this a week. Just so you know what I look like, you know how I sound. And I'm going to describe where I'm at in this process. What's the process? That's the big picture. There are many, many parts of the big picture. But if you were going to distill it down into a simple sentence or two, I'll give you two pieces. One is it's the return of the divine feminine, of the divine mother, back into our conscious awareness. That's the first thing. We, as a species, as a planetary collective, we need to understand what happened on the planet and to understand why our knowledge and awareness and relationship with Divine Mother, with the Divine Feminine Source, God, was deliberately taken from us. there isn't an easy way to put that. It wasn't even taken. It was very cleverly inverted so that we ourselves would look at it within ourselves and say, oh my God, that's horrible. And there are these external people telling me that if I express this, I'll be burned at the stake, or best case, labeled some kind of bad thing. So we all learn to hide it. Uh, but Divine Mother, the Divine Feminine, is the source of creation. The archetype is obvious. Mother gives birth. Now, the other part of this that I will be talking about, first off, we have to understand why the feminine was sort of demonized, is a good way to put it. It's very, if you want to control people, it's a great way to do it. You demonize part of their actual nature as a divine being. You demonize it. And out of fear of survival, they will suppress it in themselves. That has to be, first and foremost, the thing that you learn. Now, once you begin to see that and understand it, and let me tell you, there is so much evidence of it in our history. It's so obvious. It is hiding in plain sight because no one understands this is what happened. And so when you look at history and mythology and archaeology, it's all there. It's all there what happened and what they did. Very clever. And we're so terrified of revealing this divine nature of ourselves that we have purposely forgotten it, buried it in our own awareness. So the natural other side of that story is that we begin to remember this divine nature that we are. We begin to remember it. And hearing stories like this will help you. Your eyes will be like, WTF, OMG. That's how my experience of this has been. But then it goes on to something even greater. There is a whole story then that begins to unfold about how your divine nature becomes manifest through your body. Your body is like this big radio receiver, in a sense. Again, words and language are just not going to encapsulate what needs to be said about all of this or conveyed. Words just cannot express it. So you're going to have to bear with me and people like me who try to explain these things. It's difficult, but your body is a manifestation of your divine nature. And when you suppress that divine nature, things aren't expressed well in your body. You experience things like anxiety, fear, depression. These are all symptoms of the suppression of the divine feminine within all of us. This has nothing to do with males or females, women or men. It has nothing to do with the sex of your body. The divine feminine is the field of consciousness that exists. The divine masculine was birthed out of that field to help create contrast, uniqueness, differentiation of experience. The masculine in each one of us gets to pick. It listens. The feminine within each of us listens. It's what gut instinct is. It's like, I have a feeling that guy's up to something, right? The private investigator, he's like, I just have a hunch. I got to prove it, right? That's the feminine. I have a hunch. I feel it. It's in the field. You know when someone's lying. That's the feminine. And you make a decision. You discern. This is the masculine. All right. I have a feeling. I'm going to go after some evidence. I'm going to investigate this tangent because, okay, this is a perfect example. A private investigator is a great example. An artist is a perfect example. I have this feeling. I have this feeling, this emotion that I really want to express. That's the feminine. It's the masculine that picks up the paintbrush and begins to translate the feeling into a manifested piece of artwork or music or writing. Okay, this is how it works it's within each of us. It has nothing to do with your body. Please don't go down that trajectory of male, female. The feminine is the big radio receiver. It tunes into the infinite field of consciousness that we are birthed from. The masculine just interprets and takes an action based on that. That's how the two work together. So, what happens then, once you start to realize your divinity was purposefully suppressed so that you would not remember and pursue it? There's no need for priests and kings and external anybody when you are embodying your divinity, because everything you need to know or need to have or want to experience or want to create, when you've embodied your divinity, that is all yours. That is your birthright. That is our birthright. That's how it works. But these folks who figured out that if they demonize this capacity to embody our divinity, they get to control us. Wow. And then they get us to work for them out of fear of survival. I need money. I need a house over my head. I need food. I need this fancy car because the guy down the street has whatever. This is how it works. And they've built an infinite number of systems to reinforce this nonsense. They don't want you knowing what I'm going to tell you. They don't want you to know it. And they don't even bother with people like me who are saying these things because they know you are too enslaved to their systems to make the effort to listen to what I've got to say. Okay, that might be true. It's probably true for a lot of people. But the thing that's unfortunate for those guys is that there's a universe conspiring with people like me to bring that message to you now. So that's the long story of why I'm going to sit in front of this camera and tell these stories. They're not going to be in order. I don't know. One day I'm going to just be like, I feel like talking about the masculine today. Let's talk about what happened to the masculine, what these bastards did to the masculine. Maybe another day I'm going to want to talk about the Sophia Code. I don't know. I'm going to be all over the place. Sometimes I'm going to write a script and put it to some pretty pictures and throw that up there because it's really nice to be able to give ChatGPT sort of an outline of what you want to talk about and have it sort of generate a script. I did this. I'm going to create one of these videos as an experiment. We'll see how people like it. But I gave it 10 bullet points. I'm like, here are the topics I want to discuss in this order. And I told it how to speak. I gave it a whole bunch of my blog posts at one point. I'm like, here's the way I write. Will you give me an elaborate description of my writing so that I can paste it back in here sometimes when I want you to write in my voice? Yep, it can do that. Of course it can. So I have this description of the way I write. And it did a pretty dang good job, I got to say. I still have to go through the script and sort of rewrite it with the words that I like. It uses big words. I like to think I'm not dumb, but I don't go using big words like ontological. It used the word ontological in this script it gave me. I'm like, okay, I'm not dumb. I don't want to hear that word. I need plain language for the masses. This has to be digestible. It has to make you go, oh my God. That's what it has to do. So I still have to go through these things, even though it saves me a lot of time sort of organizing and giving me base words to work with. I still got to go through it and tweak it so that it's how I want it, so that it conveys the message I want. It's still not perfect, but man, if I were to write a 40-minute video, it would take me all day. It would take me 10 hours. I probably couldn't even get it done in one sitting, in one day, because I fuss too much about the words. I'm going to try not to fuss too much. Um, so I will probably do some things like that too. Just so there are a few more videos in between the ones that I probably do on Wednesdays or Thursday. We'll see. I'm going to try to do them on Wednesdays. Uh, and then I'll try to start describing the big picture and then give you bits and pieces from this big picture. I can't just sit down and here's the big picture. There's way too much information in that big picture to, to convey in one sitting or in one video. It's ridiculously a big picture. Okay, enough about that. That's the game plan. Pardon me. That's the game plan. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm planning to do. Uh, I hope I hope it's useful. I don't intend to find a lot of people who are going to resonate with me or what I'm saying. Maybe I will. Maybe what I'm going to say is what they're looking for, and maybe the way I say it, maybe the way I say it is what they're looking for. I don't know. I'm not your fluffy spiritualist. I am not that woman. Uh, Not at all. Many, many who know me know that. But I won't be boring. I laugh a lot. And I've got a good story to tell you. And then I'll tell you what's going on in my own experience as it's unfolding, because whether you're ahead of me on this path or coming up behind me, we're all on this same path. We're all on it. There are many ways to walk it, but there's only one way. You'll walk it your way. I'm walking it my way. But in sharing the stories of walking that path, it helps to know you're moving in the right direction. I don't think you can do it wrong. I don't think you can fail. You can only delay it. You can only delay it. You can't do it wrong. You can't fail. So you might as well listen to other people, see how they're interpreting that path, see how they interpret their experiences, draw correlations. It's how you get excited to take another step because you know you're not alone. Maybe that's what I'm doing. Maybe I'm going to let you know you're not alone. You're not. You're not. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. That's the game plan. Dead silence. I feel like I want to say something important. What's important is to follow, follow your hunch, follow that nagging voice, the one that's telling you that everything in front of you, something is not right about it. Something's not right. You are not wrong. You're not wrong. I guess we'll talk about that too. You are not wrong. What you suspect is true. And I know a lot of you don't know. You cannot give words to what it is you suspect is wrong. But you're right. You're right. This world that we live in, it is fabricated and intentionally created to reinforce that you are just this lowly biological creature destined to work, slave away for someone else. It's wrong. You are not that. You are a very divine spark of source down here to usher in a new age. And if my words help you to break out of the bullshit, all right, then it was worth the time to sit here and say this. I do not want anyone to sit out there and feel that those feelings of emptiness and depression and anxiety, all of that stuff, because you know the world shouldn't be like this. You are correct. You're the one who's right. And all of this, it's being fed to us. It's being fed to us. It's a big fat lie. So you gotta ignore the lie. And whether you find resonance with me or someone else, find someone like me. If you don't like me, find someone you do like who's saying something similar. That is a lie. Stop paying attention to the lie. Find your person, your people who's going to give you the words to understand that you are correct. This is not the world that you came to be in. It's true. It's not entirely here yet. It's coming. It's coming because people like us are going to make it so. And this is how it's going to happen. You start talking about your experiences, you give words so that other people have words as well. That's what I'm going to do. Amen. I will see you later this week. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm in alignment.